Hey everyone, welcome back to Pork to Esports. My name is Max Tompkins. I'm joined by Stella Chung, and we have just had some big esports news. ESL, Faceit, and DreamHack all bought and merged together by the Savvy Gaming Group, which is a Saudi Arabian investment fund. Stella, what happened?
You tell me. This is a lot. I mean, we just saw Microsoft buy out Activision Blizzard. We already don't know what's going to be happening with that group. And then we get hit by this news, which, by the way, just for people who aren't aware, the Savvy Gaming Group is backed by the Saudi Arabian government's public investment fund. So this has a lot of implications that go far beyond my knowledge. And I can't say that I'm, an expert in any of that, like worldwide politics or what happens and what goes into the funding and creation of an esports organization. But I can speak to what I know and what Max and I know, because we are very heavily invested in the industry. We are casters in esports communities. So yeah, we're just kind of reacting to this visceral news that a major esports, oh my God, what do you even call it? Like pillar has been taken out, and it's kind of weird. Like it's a lot to process.
It is, because we've all grown up, both in terms of our careers and just as people, with ESL, DreamHack, and Faceit being household names, but now all of them seemingly being merged together is just absolutely wild to see. There's in different angles we can look at this different, at this acquisition, right? From a human rights angle, between all the, where the money comes from, to even whether people's jobs are still going to be okay, whether you are a marginalized gender or you're LGBTQ plus, that's all taken into question right now.
Yeah. So for a quick breakdown on some facts that we know about Saudi Arabia's involvement in sports in history. In 2017, a chess champion was forced to lose both titles because she refused to travel to Saudi Arabia. And another example of some negative stuff that Saudi Arabia has had was Saudi Arabia denied hosting a chess championship after refusal of allowing Israeli players of joining, and the venue switched to Russia. So a lot of this this huge buyout could be a side effect of Saudi Arabia trying to make amends and trying to rebuild their reputation. Because let's face it, esports is becoming mainstream. We see championships being advertised everywhere on Facebook. Your mom can see it. You see esports tournaments on ESPN as well. So it's becoming mainstream. They know that the internet has a huge reach. So the fact that they are trying to dip their hand into esports is pretty big. I mean, they could be trying to fix their reputation, Max.
It wouldn't even be the first time that Saudi Arabia has tried to dive into esports more, right?
Yeah, no, they actually have. So speaking of controversial history that they have with sports, they also have it with esports. There was a tournament in which the tournament organizer Blast and Riot Games actually pulled out of the partnership with Saudi Arabian futuristic city development project NEOM in 2020, following some community backlash over the country's human rights record, which is, totally valid. But now that Savvy Gaming Group now owns ESL and everything else, like it's a little bit hard to see. It's hard to be positive about it.
Yeah, there's been definitely a lot of chatter online, especially on Twitter, about all the different things of what the acquisition could bring out. Players and even casters, everyone's worried, because even and it's so hard to say, human rights aside, it's like, even if you mesh everyone together, there's a really good chance for us casters, or even, production, a lot of that talent pool about what you could look for gets shrunk down significantly. And it's like, Saudi Arabia is not the only country investing in esports as well. There's other countries as well, like, with Riot Games in China and Tencent also having that kind of funding as well. It's hard to overlook, Stella. It's really hard to overlook that.
Yeah, I mean, again, going back to Microsoft buying out Activision Blizzard. I mean, we're already seeing this sort of a monopoly in gaming kind of take effect, right? And I think a lot of people were like, "Well, how could this happen?" But it's like it's been on the move. Like, these massive companies have money and they do want to invest, which it's good for the companies, but it's going to be a very weird time for gamers coming up in the future. But I do want to point out that the ESL Gaming CEO, Craig Levine, did say our mission remains unchanged to create a world where everybody can be somebody. Our merger with FACEIT, along with the backing of SGG, will give us more know-how, capabilities, and resources than ever to deliver on this vision. Whether you're competing or watching, doing so socially or at a professional level, every stage of the pathway will be improved through this merger. And another fact that I want to point out is that Savvy Gaming Group paid $1.05 billion for ESL Gaming. So that is a big chunk of money. And they paid $500 million for FACEIT as well. So it's not that they're lacking funds. And, now ESL and FACEIT have gotten a lot of money, but it's what they do with the money that matters, right? And we're just not sure what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, Savvy Gaming Group also claims that they're going to invest more than $30 billion in the next upcoming 5 years, which, I mean, we talked about the acquisition for Microsoft and Activision, right? That's a lot of money going to esports. That's like worth more than all of esports combined already. So like, where's that money going to go? And is it going to go to like a good cause in of itself, right? I mean, that could be a lot of money for this industry to really elevate things and really put a foothold in history. But with, the political implications and stuff behind that, it's still really worrying. And I'm not sure what it's going to look like in the future.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there are a lot of international tournaments. And I mean, we did see Riot already pull out because of their previous human rights feelings. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how these international tournaments will work out, especially since ESL is such a huge name in gaming. But Savvy Gaming Group did put on their website that they're a long-term investor formed to drive the growth and development of esports and the wider games industry worldwide. So maybe this is their sort of weird apology letter and attempt to establish trust. But honestly, at this point, for me personally, I genuinely don't know what they would have to do to earn my trust, because this is uncharted territory. And this is a very weird time for someone who's as invested in the gaming and esports community as we are. So, yeah.
I mean, speaking of uncertainty, right? Is it only a matter of time before there's a major esports tournament in the Middle East? Or what would happen if there is one, Stella? Would there be a distinct lack of competition? What about casters? There's a whole bunch of different questions.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like they're going to keep their productions the same for the most part. They haven't announced any major changes. So again, it's just going to be one of those things where we just keep an eye on this new buyout. I mean, it's not small news, and you should be keeping an eye on this. And we just need to hold them accountable, because this could be a big turning point.
Nope, Stella, I think you bring up a great point, but we're going to have to wait and see how things turn out. Hopefully it does turn out positive and everyone is able to play, cast, and be part of the production for something that's truly amazing with all that money that could be coming into esports. But that's all we have for today. Stella, once again, thank you so much for coming on here, and we can't wait to see you for the next Port D Esports